Mr. Transformers 96 here with another end of the year ranking video. This time I'm going to be ranking the 2021 Marvel Legends figures that were my favorite, so the top 8 favorite Marvel Legends of the year for me. So this list will be comprised of standard Marvel Legends. I'm not including Build-A-Figures on this list, and the reason for that is that Build-A-Figures will have their separate video. I'm going to rank all the Build-A-Figures from 2021 from worst to best. So that will be a separate video. This will just be standard Marvel Legends figures, and it will include both comic and movie and even game, although there's very few of those. So this will be comprised of everything. Now, I did purchase the great majority of Marvel Legends that came out this year, but of course I didn't buy them all. So with that, this list, you might have a Marvel Legend that you love and think that it absolutely has to be on this list, but I might have actually not purchased it. And not to mention, this is just a list of my own personal preferences. Obviously this can differ, and I'm not necessarily saying that these are the best Marvel Legends figures themselves. I am also taking into account just how I personally felt about them and how much fun I had with them as well. So there's the kind of parameters for this list, the guidelines. There will also be a separate video of the worst ones, because you can't have good Marvel Legends without some bad ones. And then the last thing I'll say is that I'm not including the HasLab Sentinel in this. He's just on a way different level than these, so it's unfair to compare him on the level with these regular ones. So let's get started. In 8th place, we have Icarus from the Gilgamesh wave. This figure I do think is quite nice. I love the colors, love the intricate detail of the costume, and just in general, I think that all of the Eternals figures for the most part are pretty on par, and it's a very solid wave of a lot of new sculpts. So I wanted it to be represented on this list, and of the wave, I think Icarus was my favorite. The alternative head sculpt really kind of clinched that win, I think, of the group, to really add kind of a more dynamic figure than some of the rest. But again, vibrant, a metallic blue that has difference of shades throughout him with the gold detailing just looks fantastic and definitely deserves a spot on the list. Taking that 7th spot, we have Iceman from the Colossus Build-A-Figure wave. This is my favorite Marvel Legends Iceman figure. I think he looks fantastic. I love the sharpness and aggressiveness of this figure. A lot more of it's resculpted or newly sculpted than I expected, with a lot of kind of pointy ice piercing from his body in certain areas, which I think looks really cool. I love the frosted ends that they put on those ice pieces. And then the translucent isn't just like a see-through Iceman. It legitimately looks cold. There's spots, particularly around the thighs and the arms, where it's a dark translucent that really looks like it's icy and like starting to melt. This is a very impressive figure. First glance, it can be quite simple, but when you really look at it, it's very impressive and just such a cool design for Iceman. And next up we have Quicksilver from the MCU Anniversary Series. This figure was one that I was excited to get just to have a Quicksilver in my collection. It actually turned out to be a ton of fun though. Of course it's a fully new sculpt with the higher price point of this the sub-series for Marvel Legends though. You'd expect that. But I really enjoy what he comes with. He comes with really cool Ultron Sentry kind of broken pieces that I had a ton of fun with this figure with. I would pose him running, and then I would throw those pieces at him and take a photo while I did it, so that it gave like a look of him running through the rubble. It was really neat, and this was probably the most fun I've had kind of taking pictures with the figure this year. So, it might just be mainly my personal experience, but on top of a good figure, that gives him a spot on this list. Taking the 5th spot, we have Red Skull from the Marvel Villains wave. This was a figure that I really enjoyed. This is my favorite kind of design for Red Skull, that real classic look. And I really like this new kind of classic body sculpt that they came with, kind of the baggy clothing, very, kind of 60s villain type of a look. They've already reused it within the wave itself for Dormammu, but nonetheless, very excited to get this new sculpt for both of those figures. What makes this figure really special, though, not only just kind of giving me the design of Red Skull that I like the most, is also the fact that they really went all out with accessories. He comes with a slew of different hands, the Tesseract with classic gun, and then 2 different head sculpts to give 2 different looks for Red Skull, which I think is really nice. This is a figure that actually has a whole lot packed in. It's one of the few Marvel Legends that I did buy 2 of, because there's enough with him to make him look very different. So I kind of have both looks, this more classic head sculpt with the Tesseract, and then a more modern head sculpt with the gun. You can do, several different things, which I think is really awesome. And again, having the new sculpt is great as well. Next up, we have the Endgame Thor from the MCU Anniversary series. So this was a figure that I was really looking forward to. It's taken so long to get him, and when we did get the kind of bro Thor as a Build-A-Figure in an Endgame wave, was disappointed with the costume that they chose for him. You know, of course, this is the one that I think everyone really wanted. The other one's cool, but this is what we all wanted. So to get this version of him was fantastic. The head sculpt, I think, is really magnificent. The detailing in the color within the hair, both the beard and the hair itself, really spectacular. Completely new sculpt, of course. The proportions are really well done. I like the cape. Sometimes I have issues with Thor capes. This one's quite nice. Wish that they redesigned Stormbreaker. Nonetheless, though, it certainly works. And I like the translucent kind of thunder effect for both of the weapons. I think that's awesome. The thunder effect for the eyes is really cool, too. My only thing that I could have wanted is a secondary head sculpt, though, that did have just regular pupils, so that it wasn't just kind of Thunder Thor the entire time. Nonetheless, though, this is a fantastic figure and one that I had been waiting for quite a while. Alright, now entering into the top three, taking the bronze place, we have the Zombie Captain America from the What If / Watcher Build-A-Figure wave. So this was a figure that I was very much looking forward to, obviously with such a unique look and style. I was very much anticipating the Marvel Legends for. It's a great figure. I really do like how some of the damage on him has like a hole that, you know, goes through the entire figure. There's multiple spots with damage too. Sometimes when there's kind of damage or like a zombie look, I feel like they focus kind of on the upper half and the legs get no attention. Not the case with this one, which is awesome. The you know, unsymmetrical design of him is really cool too. Love the head sculpt. And, you know, with Marvel Legends' articulation, you can get him in some great stances and poses that really reflect the character, you know, as a zombie. So I think that's awesome. A shield that is a little bit more zombified, I think, would have been nice with them. But overall, I think such a fantastic figure. And I hope that we do get additional kind of zombie characters going forward in the future, because although this Cap one looks great, I think it would be really cool with a couple extra. And taking that second spot, we have Scarlet Witch from the Disney Plus, the Falcon Wings Build-A-Figure wave. This is a figure that I've been very much looking forward to ever since her debut of this new costume within WandaVision, so to get the figure was really great. I think that the figure itself is a fantastic representation of this character. I love the hand sculpts, you know, giving that kind of magic type of style of movements that she does. The face sculpt, I think, is really good. I think it's one of the best of the live-action face sculpts that they did this year. The hair itself looks so intense, and in a pose like this, she just looks really awesome. This is overall just a really solid figure and definitely the best of the wave. Alright, and taking the number one spot as my favorite Marvel Legends figure of 2021, we have the Spider-Verse SpiderMan from the Stiltman Build-A-Figure wave. This is actually surprising to me. When I went to go make this list and I was putting it together, I was actually surprised because I kind of forgot that the Spider-Verse wave was this year. It was the first wave of the year, so this is one of the first figures I received from Marvel Legends this year, and it was just a great one to start off the year with. Really fantastic figure, 100% a new sculpt, based on an animated design, which is something that Marvel Legends really doesn't do. They're very much comic movie and every now and then game. So to do an animated style was very unique for them. And they really knocked it out of the park. Not only is it a perfect representation of this character, but I think it captured his personality too. The different shoes that they styled look fantastic, and that unsymmetrical design is really neat. Having the pants styled up further on one side, the Slurpee cup, and then the trench coat over the kind of bloated Spider-Man body himself is really cool, and of course maintains the full articulation of Marvel Legends. This was just a really nice surprise from a movie that I really enjoyed that it didn't look like we were going to get figures of. This figure, you know, this wave itself actually was very late to the game. Came out about more than a year after the movie itself, so it was something that we never expected to get. So it was not only exciting to get it, but to get it made so well was really a surprise, and definitely deserving my favorite Marvel Legends of the year. And there's my list of my top 8 favorite Marvel Legends figures of the year. Overall, pretty solid year for Marvel Legends. They came out with a whole ton of figures. A little bit more on the packaging side than usual that I like more just kind of standard waves with Build-A-Figures. Unfortunately, we did get a lot of waves that came with no Build-A-Figure. But if you see here, like I didn't feature too many of those figures. Most of the figures here actually came from legitimate waves with Build-A-Figures, so hopefully they continue to do just as many waves with Build-A-Figures and produce the level of quality figures that they've been doing these last couple of years, because overall that they've been doing a solid job, and a nice mix of types of characters too, from different mediums of Marvel, which is awesome. You even see, you know, a mix here. You've got comic, animated, movie, you've got a good mix all around. So there you go. That's my favorite Marvel Legends of the year. Of course, I'll be doing my least favorite Marvel Legends of the year, as I always do. So let me know what you guys think of my choices, and I'd love to hear your guys' choices down below. And thanks so much for watching.